Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So in our last video, we have seen how we can use query with our RunBase framework. So in this video, we are going to do some enhancement. So the first enhancement that we'll do is, so if you see previously when we run this job, we didn't get any description, right? So you see here, so we didn't get any type of description. So first thing is that we'll be using the same class and I will simply, like put some description. So now to add a description in your RunBase framework, what you can do, you can simply write this code. You can say public static and you can say class description, this EDT, and then you can simply write a description. And I'll open my braces here and then I can return my description. So I will simply say return. Here I can say my batch job test, something like this. So now this will come here. Okay, now another modification that we want to do is you might have seen a record to include filter. So we are going to, so the query that we have created, we'll add a filter for this. So currently if you see what this code is doing, it is going to display all the customer groups, but you want to limit it. You want the user to give certain options so that user can filter in his query by his own and only those records will get processed. Now to achieve this, you can simply use a function that will do this job for you. So let me come to bottom here. We'll press enter. So we can use this function public boolean show query values. So you simply need to pass this particular function true. So I'm going to return this as true. And additionally, assume I also want to save these records. So for that, what I will do, I will create a macro. So for that, I need to have at least one variable. So I can declare a dummy variable like named as integer test. And then I will start defining my macro. So I will say define dot current version. So I will say version, and here I will simply pass this one as 1, and then I will start my local macro. I will say current list, and then I will simply define that particular variable here, test. Let me do Control Z as I am only interested in this variable test, and then we'll simply end our macro. So here I can say end macro. So let me remove these extra spaces here. So macros, they get value even like during the compilation time. So at runtime, they do not have any significance. So I will now write my pack and unpack method. So I will start writing code for that. So I will start with my pack method first. So I can say public. The return type would be container. The method name would be pack. I will open my parenthesis, and here initially I will say container pack equals to, I'm going to assign null. So I'll simply use this function, and then I will check if my query run. So if you see, we have defined a global variable in our last video, which is at the top. So we are going to use this, and we'll say pack equals to, from your query run, if this have value, then simply assign this value. So we'll say query pack, and at the end I simply need to return my container. So I can say return. Now for container, I'm going to use this particular symbol. So I can say current version, and I will simply add my pack here. That's it. So let me go to top and here see if I have current version with the same name. Here it is the same name. Now I will go ahead and now I will use my unpack method. So I can say public. So here the return type would be boolean unpack, and then I can say container. So I'll show you how it will be used. And I can define an argument here, and then initially I will assign it false, and then as usual we'll use this version variable, and I will use my runbase dot get version, and I can simply pass this tag class here, and again I will say container packed query, we'll assign this one as container null, and I will start my switch case now, and I'm going to check my version. Okay, so okay, here we have the mistake version. Okay, now they're matching. Okay, I will now open my this braces. Okay, here if you see we're getting error for not returning. So to remove this error I will initially return, and let me save this. Okay, the error is gone. Now I can work. So here I can write my first case. You can say current version, and then inside our container, that is version comma packed query, I can assign, because the value is not going to change, right? So I can say this, and then further I can say if my sys query, I'm going to use a function called is packed OK, and we need to pass our packed query here. Open my braces again. So inside our query run, we'll say equals to new query run, and here I need to change the value, right? Packed query, and here I will say return equals to true. And now for the default case, I will simply return false. Alright, so let me save this, and I will trigger a build. So what modification we did from our last video is, the first thing is this, which will show that particular dialog to filter out the records using UI, and then we have defined here this macro, and this is just a dummy variable, and then I'm going to do pack and unpack. So basically the value will change. Okay, I want to save the value. If it will not, then I don't want to do anything. So we'll wait for the build to get completed. Alright guys, the build is completed, and now I'm going to run this. So what I will do, initially I will say that I only want to do my operation for this major customer, and when I will click OK, and I will click OK here, then you see I'm only getting 20. But now let me run it again, And the significance of using packed and unpacked is that the last value will be saved. Now I'll again click on filter, and this time I will remove 20 just to see if the original query is working. I will again click on OK. And then if you see, we are getting, all the data. Right, so let me reiterate what we did. In this video, our goal was to use this, this query. Let me again click here. So my all demos, as I'm saying, I'm simply using the runnable class directly, but you should always create a action menu item. Yeah. So this record to include, we want to filter our query. Okay. So for that, the only code that we need to write here is we need to pass this this show query value function. We need to pass this as true, and then we define our pack and unpack method. That's it. So thank you for watching this video.